Today, I will save the financial future of yourself, your family, your kids, your future grandkids, the kids of your grandkids, the grandkids of your grandkids, the grandkids of your great-grandkids, and so on. We have to understand why memes are actually being perceived wrongly on the marketplace at this stage. We have to understand that huge capitulation from altcoins, mid-curves holders is going to happen into meme coins. And we also have to understand why best traders, why best teams, why best people on the marketplace are actually solely focusing on memes this cycle. There is a pure, very straightforward business answer response to this question that you have to understand. Today, we will go through the topic. Why memes are not a casino, certain type of memes, most of them are. And why these type of assets will actually get appreciated heavily. And why the best thing you can actually do is to buy a blue chip meme coin, figure out if it's a blue chip, following the narrative with a great team early, and just hold. Just hold, do nothing, play World of Warcraft for the whole year, jerk off, do drugs, do whatever you want, and outperform 99% of the marketplace. Let's actually start. The concept for this video came from a thread from DJ.en. He's claiming to be a VC in real life, he owns a casino, he has a bunch of money, he's quite successful with his meme coin trades, and it's quite interesting what type of alpha he is sharing. In a way, this is something I was actually sharing with you back in February when I was publishing the interview with the CEO of Godbit. This thing, it just proves the whole thing, and you need to change your mindset. You need to understand what type of assets are you actually holding, what type of teams, and what type of money these people are actually fighting for. And first of all, I want to respond to the question why memes are actually going to outperform altcoins and why best teams are actually working on memes currently. The main reason for that is because in business, when you're trying to sell something, you always will have a learning curve if your product is complex. Therefore, if you want to sell a complex product, yes, you might be able to sell it at a premium, right? But you would need to spend resources to actually educate your buyers, or you would only be able to target the buyers who already know about your technology, your product, and why it actually provides nice ROI. Therefore, in comparison to your competition, who are selling something that is easy to understand and easy to explain, you would have to spend time, resources, and way more money to actually convince people in buying something, convince in the longer term future. This is the main difference that I'm seeing in between meme coins and alts at this stage. There is a great video of a guy asking people on the street whether or not they would want to buy Arbitrum or VIF. People are choosing to buy dog with head because they understand dog with head. And Arbitrum actually need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to educate the audience. And only once the audience is educated, they would have enough conviction to actually buy into something, which is quite hard to actually do in the first place. We are in a very interesting situation. I do unfortunately expect altcoins to underperform heavily this cycle. And if the game would be equal, they will probably have the chances because they still have the audience, mid-curvers, people who think that they're smart, people who think that meme coins are stupid and things like that. But unfortunately, the game is rigged in the first place. And the way it's rigged is so smart by VCs. I will actually be sharing a tweet on that in some time soon. What is happening with altcoins is very interesting. Coming back to our thread, the truth about meme coins that can get to 100 million plus. I recently was talking to someone at Bybit, learned a lot about the processes, learned a lot about the ways they assess the market and what's going on in crypto world. Had a cool 2-hour meeting with them. Due to the NDA, I can't tell you why I was there. But yeah, let's keep this about meme coins. I will explain everything from my next post. The prerequisites. These days, meme coin projects are like businesses you might already know, but yeah, this is still not obvious to most of the market participants. And here we're specifically talking about proper Memecoin projects. I'm not talking about Solana, garbage, pump and dump, like 3 days alive and then it's dead, right? I'm speaking about proper memes in the first place. Let's take an example of Ponki here. A business needs various things to attract investors and attract the retail users, and many other things, which Ponki nailed as fuck. Content. This is mostly number one thing on the pitch deck. Ponki focused on creating content and distributing in every channel there is. Ponki botted their accounts so that the content looks amazing on their pitch deck. The big channels promote them to their audience, the big KOLs. YouTube Ponki and you will see big YouTube guys promoting Ponki as fuck. Now they are promoting Benji on base, so that might be the next big runner. It's quite interesting. They're definitely wasting money at this stage, because the issue with these big YouTubers is that they just promote too much stuff at the same time and people don't believe them much. They don't focus on one play, right? They promote different things because they're getting paid for them and things like that. So I doubt that Ponki team essentially is getting a lot of ROI from there right away. But ROI is essentially a long-term one in the proof of legitimacy. When someone is Googling Ponki on YouTube, searching for it, right, he would see a bunch of videos from large accounts which would add legitimacy to the whole operation in the first place, right? The numbers, engagement on their channels. This is important. These are for the investors and VCs to see. They don't really care that if normies buy or not. They just want the numbers to be huge so that VCs are like, we want to invest 1 million into this project. Think of seed investment but in a different way, and when one whale gets it, then other whales follow, the normies follow, etc, etc. It's quite interesting that there is definitely the same type of game with the meme coins as well. It's just that some of them, they are actually community run in the first place. Some of them, they're essentially pumping up from nothing and things like that. But at the same time, probably if things went to hundreds of millions or billions, probably certain whales entered at certain valuations. And they essentially help to push the project further. And whales can help push the project further in a very, very passive way. Just buying certain percentage of supply, just hold it, just do nothing, just don't sell as JITs on the marketplace. A good market maker keeps the volume active. People can run charts, good for traders, and they have connections like crazy too. They work for the banks. Ponki uses Wintermute, I guess, best in the business. Wintermute is also the market maker for Pepe as well, but I have a feeling that they might actually start to become a market maker for a bunch of meme coins out there, which overall should decrease the quality of the work that they're doing. Let's see if this projection would essentially come to life as well. Overall, a very, very interesting part about this thing is that meme coin traders, they often check out the volumes, and volume is often rigged in the first place. You can easily, like, even on Ethereum currently, because transaction fees are very, very cheap currently, you can just bot, and we saw this happen in the marketplace quite recently. And you're getting certain ROI from it, more from the legitimacy point of view as well, if it's not done organically, of course, is that if you bought your volumes, your project is number one on DEX Screener, on DEX Tools. So it's kind of like free type of ads, right? But smart people, and I would say general market, they would understand that the thing is botted after first several days, like easily. Money and supply. A good project would need $1 million+ to create good content, which can cost up to 20K per video, and the amount of supply they can work on 1%. I would say these estimates might be a bit over the roof. With proper content, with proper teams, especially if you outsource like these things, you can actually make your content quite cheap. And it's quite important because for memes, you have to have a burn rate in the first place, because you don't have capital initially. You only have capital that you allocated as a group of whales in the first place. You have liquidity to actually launch this thing right away, right? But at the same time, you might not have a lot of revenue. You might have a tax implemented into Memecoin, which is not that great. You might farm your liquidity pools, which actually might be passive type of revenue actually coming to you. And you might be selling some of the supply through certain channels, especially once you've launched on the exchange, to obfuscate the transactions of the wallets on the blockchains, right? So you have to be very, very careful with the burn rates. how much money you're spending a month because you don't have a direct source of revenue. Although if you have volumes on the project, you can be farming liquidity pools with free liquidity that you have and cover your expenses very, very nicely. Like Jupiter has 90% supply locked and only 10% trades on the market. With Memecoins, people don't want to see locked supply, etc., as there is no utility. That's why getting crazy amount of supply is demonized. It's very, very interesting because currently we definitely see a trend that people want. People actually want to see a larger percentage of supply being held by the team in the first place. To make sure that there are no cheats, to make sure that actually the project can run up. Something that essentially happened on Bread in the first place. If the intentions of the team is good, then them having crazy amount of supply is okay, as they have to look at market making, success, and the end users. Right. Top like tier 2 exchanges charge 600k to actually launch the project on the exchange, which is quite a substantial amount of money in the first place, right? Which should be paid if you, again, it's more about legitimacy in the first place. It's more about actually making this asset risk off. And when the asset is risk off, when it's proven yourself, larger capital is finding its ways to this type of asset. There is no capital, but there are VCs and private investors that are investing into memes, as they also see the attention is here, not on games and AI. This is a very, very important part because there are definitely a bunch of games and AI VCs in this space. So far, they suck ass. So far, they underperform heavily. And right now, for sure, this capital is actually looking to invest into Memecoins. And following the interviews that I'm actually checking out myself, they have not capitulated fully at this stage. They still think that this is probably like a shorter term type of move. Attention will change and things like that. Some of them, they are allocating some of the funds in larger place, but we should still be seeing capitulation from them as well. It's very, very interesting because they definitely have a bunch of money in different projects, and what are they waiting for is for the market conditions to change. They're waiting for the all-time high for the Bitcoin, they're waiting for the new all-time high for Ethereum as well. After that, they will be kicking off marketing campaigns and spending tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars on actually marketing the tokens. Imagine if the marketing won't be fucking effective. Imagine, they are scared already. How fucking scared they will be after spending tens or hundreds of millions of dollars into marketing and seeing that no one is buying that crap. Imagine the capitulation that will actually be happening into Memecoins at this stage. It's just so crazy. Like currently when I'm thinking about like utility project in crypto, in my mind it's like food that has no taste, because I don't understand it's all a scam in the first place. All the shit dumped, 99% after the last cycle. Nothing is working in terms of the altcoins after like 15 years of existence of cryptocurrencies. Some things are, but most of them, like maybe less than 1% actually working. People are just too fed up. It's very, very interesting what's actually going to happen from this point of view. Like sometimes I just want to front run things. I want to press a button on the time machine just to see in several months. Was I right on these things? Was I wrong on these things? What actually happened? It's so fucking interesting. Everything in meme world is shown organic for some reason. It was not the case when even we've used Wintermute at VCs to get over some point. Michi will have to use it too. It's very, very interesting because there is still this psyop around memes that everything is organic and it's fair and things like that. And this is something that the market is using. And there is a high chance that this psyop will essentially be alive at least till the end of the cycle, which is so fucking bullish for the meme coins in the first place, because holders, they are essentially incentivized to support this psyop as well. At the same time, we kind of have counter psyop. This is meme coins down 80%. What have you wanted? Like, what did you want? It does not have any utility. It should be going down like that. So it's a very, very comfortable, convenient type of thing in the first place. It's like you're just upfront, like, hey, we can have sex, but I have AIDS. Are you right with that? It's very, very interesting to be upfront like that, and then kind of responsibility is taken by other person on that end. It's a real fucking business, but don't get me wrong, it's the community that matters. It's interesting because I'm seeing a lot of feedback from people who are trading meme coins that community is important, things like that. And me personally, to be honest, I was always fading community. I never believed in community in the first place. Like, I'm never checking out. I don't believe much that the community can actually, like, it can tell people. I would say the main thing is about the strengths of the community, because if they're like random 15 years old, they will do fucking nothing. If the community consists of people like with YouTube channels, with people who can attract whales, with people that essentially have a lot of liquidity following after them, speaking of meme coins, yes, this might work. In general, I was not checking out, and I'm still like not a huge fan of the community in the first place. It's nice to have a nice community. Narrative is what's important from my point of view, and the quality of holders, like what type of liquidity they actually are able, essentially what type of people they know. You need guys that know a guy, who knows a guy, who knows a guy, these type of people. Community with awesome connections. You can't get in a room with these VCs without some crazy connections. This is something that I just said. You have to make these connections over time and use them to push the projects you are supporting. This is a very, very interesting. I would say this is the main definition of working for your bag. And right now, if you hold a meme coin and you are just like pressing like and you feel nice, I worked for my bags, bullshit. Go find some friends with money. Go explain them the thesis, explain upside, explain the downside. Go and try to make them the holders of these things in the first place. Explain opportunity, explain risks as well, because nothing is guaranteed in this market. This is the type of work that needs to, and this is the type of work that I actually have seen from this guy. This is something that he was doing himself. And this is very, very nice to actually do, because no one is actually working for his bags like that. Most likely this is something that the team should be doing in the first place, right? But if holders are doing that, well, I'm so bullish then. The pitch deck which is made is then pushed to various VCs, whales and other people who then decide if they want to support it or not. This is the exact same process as people are investing into altcoins. It's very, very interesting that the same thing is happening for meme coins currently. It's just next level, but we are so fucking early because I think it's just started to actually happen. Like maybe like just couple months in the making. I think like Bread maybe was one of the examples like that, but I doubt that they were presenting. I think Bread team, they have enough liquidity by themselves in the first place. Just like a real business. For that, they usually ask for supply or they get it from the market. That's why a lot of these projects have more than 50% supply. Yeah, this is something that you actually want to have from your meme token. You actually want the dev, the team, to hold a bunch of the supply. Getting on bigger success to bring them attention and money. There are a lot of fucking checks to get into tier 1 exchanges, and usually hedge funds managers are already into these memes that get into bigger success later on. This is something that partially CEO of Godbit was saying. He was saying that VCs already, institutionals are already buying meme coins. That was back in February, if I can actually remind it to you, right? And he was saying that with their connections, it's very, very easy for them to get into the meme, push it to the exchanges, and just take profits. It's pretty much free money for them by you utilizing the network and the name that they have. And no one will fucking know that they actually were doing that as a venture capital firm. It's like, can you onboard total normies on Binance, Coinbase, etc.? If yes, let's list it. With big content platforms, they would love it. It's very, very interesting that for exchanges, I do believe that exchanges that will be mid-curving memes this cycle, they will be losing the market share heavily. We already had cases like this because back when we were surging up in March, Crypto.com, which is quite popular exchange in the US, they listed Pepe and WIF, and Coinbase did not have Pepe and WIF. And Crypto.com, because of it, was surging higher than Coinbase in retail users. It's just so crazy to understand in the first place. Do you understand that these companies, all this infrastructure, they are essentially lining up to serve our memes? It's so fucking crazy to actually understand. And the ones who are not doing that, the ones who are mid-curving this stuff, they will be fucking losing. They will be leaving from the marketplace. They will be closing the fucking companies if they won't understand this shit right now and actually start building the infrastructure, because in business, you have to plan ahead. If you are just kicking off with things, you probably have some time currently, but at the peaks, it would be already too fucking late to actually start working on the infrastructure, list some memes, talk with the teams, start to establish connections and things like that. They will probably end up listing a bunch of scam and they will close. You have no idea how much these sexes pay YouTubers to promote them. Millions a yearly deal with the big ones. With the big ones, yes, it's usually based on volumes. It's pretty much affiliate marketing. If they attract a lot of people who trade a lot, they're making a lot of money. In terms of any type of fixed fees, like no one is getting, as far as I know, maybe someone is, no one is getting like even $100,000 a month just for the fixed type of fee with an exchange. They're usually getting a percentage as an affiliate partner based on the commissions that the users are generating that sign up on the exchange through the link shared by the influencer. This is how this works. Last cycle, man, they were doing crazy volumes. People were literally making like tens of millions of dollars. People like Carl the Moon, for example, just from the exchange, just from referring people onto the exchange. These meme coins can actually get them new users, daily high volume, and unique ways to get on TikTok, Instagram, and X. They might not use Phantom, but they can use Coinbase, X, TikTok if that happens in the future. This tech is so fucking crazy, you cannot even imagine. It's the same type of thing that I'm telling you for months. Each and every blockchain development team, like the team that has their own blockchain, like Blast team, the things that are working on their own layer 2s on their own blockchains, they will understand, or they understand already, that they need to promote meme coins in order to actually attract people on chains. And exchanges, they will understand, or they will fucking lose, that they need to attract people through meme coins. They need to list meme coins. They need to have meme coins on their exchanges. And the only thing exchanges care is actually volume. And there are usually crazy volumes on these memes because there's this hype in the market, like it can down 80%, it's a meme coin, there is no utility. Man, you can expect so large volatility from these things. And this is what exchanges actually want in the first place. It's just a crazy fucking, like, I'm reading this, I'm thinking on it, I'm providing my analysis based on the things I'm thinking. It makes me so fucking bullish about meme coins this cycle because infrastructure lines up perfectly. Industry is highly financialized. No one is giving a fuck about anything except making money. This is where exchanges will be making the most money. No one is trading fucking Arbitrum. No one cares. It's not exciting to trade Arbitrum. It's exciting to go into casino, enter 50x leverage, Pepe long, get liquidated, and enter 50x leverage Dogecoin loan or something. Think people see a video and they get an ad that, hey, you can buy this fucking meme on TikTok itself. I went to 2030, but yeah, this can happen too. Like access to the interface of the exchange through social media platform like TikTok. It sounds crazy right now, but there should be crazy flow of capital incoming to these exchanges. Don't you think that social media platforms would not want to take advantage of it as well? Like even currently, I'm checking out YouTube, I'm checking out TikTok, right? I'm seeing people commenting shit and getting like thousands of likes. An interesting thing is that one of the great value add of these social media platforms at this stage are actually comments that are being written for free by other people, pretty much social capital, right? They're not receiving any money. The future is this part financialized. Because I think social media companies understand this thing very well. They just try to keep use people as slaves as long as they can because they understand that inevitability of this thing transferring to blockchain. And we already have social fi, social tag, friend tag, right? Where people will get paid for writing comments that actually are liked and reposted by the large amount of people. Because if you're watching any type of video, if you're watching any type of TikTok, a large portion of the dopamine that you're actually getting is from the comments. You are checking out comments, and these people who write, it will be a fucking profession in the future. People who can write comments that actually attract and add value, make people laugh, they will be millionaires. They will be the millionaires of next fucking decade. It's just crazy. And you can see it already. Like some people are abusing this on Twitter, but it will get crazy fucking financialized. This is my prediction to you as well. Unique ways to invest into crypto stocks. I think that will be the next cycle things. Very smart thought. investment through social, because everything is coming to social media. Everyone is sitting in this dopamine casino, and the easiest thing is to spend money when you are on this dopamine casino in the first place. The retail investors, there are two types: phantom MetaMask users who are retail but are early to projects mostly, but take more risks, that's for sure. But where is risks, there is upside as well. People who buy on sexes for 2 to 10x too. Like they can get whiff on Binance right now. Depends how much they know about the market. And Binance, etc. make money on volume that comes in. That's crazy, because it just rounds up perfectly with the whole ecosystem. Closing comments. So I will focus on projects that can get whales, VC, and control good amount plus have good intentions. These projects can come from pump fund or they can be anywhere. We're just taking our bets and making money, trading and holding. Like Selfie has all the ingredients but have to make it happen. Mother might have everything to become the next winner. That's all from me. Please retweet. Very interesting add-up from someone who read this and wrote a comment. Great write-up. Some points I'd like to add is liquidity, market making. CTOs have issues. Community takeovers, when essentially the original developer is rugging, scamming the initial project, and members of the community holders, which hold large supply, or they essentially buy out the supply once the whole thing goes down, they tend to start leading the project by themselves. Like a lot of the successful projects, like we, for example, it was rugged initially, right? Pepe, I think the same thing. CTOs have issues if whales don't want to add liquidity. A lot of hedge funds and VCs stay away from low liquidity pumps. Ceiling is a sliding scale depending on liquidity ratio. Market making. Biggest key here is how, if you are a CTO, community takeover, you have to cough up supply and USD value to do this. A good market maker will not lose much value, so it's important to choose a good market maker. A lot of CTOs don't know this info, so that's why a lot fails, or the whales are greedy. Great write-up, DJ. Yep, they don't know that people want to buy and sell in large clips too. Think why you did what it did type of thing. So it's a very interesting comment, pretty much about the fact that market makers would allow for additional liquidity to create it on the project. And if you want to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the project, you need volumes, you need liquidity. You don't want to put this into something that has no liquidity in the first place. You will acquire a smaller supply in the first place, and you also want to sell at a certain point, and you won't be able to sell. Sum up the whole thing. This thing is crystallizing as an industry currently. Best traders, best marketers, best people, best teams are working on memes currently. They were not doing memes last cycle. They were sitting in altcoins. They are doing memes currently. The fight is happening for the ability to dump hundreds of millions of dollars onto retail. The thing is, each and every successful meme, by successful I mean each and every meme that will be able to survive, will actually be able to do that because people are greedy. Top meme, like best team, best execution, they will be at the tops. People will dump on retail, they will be taking profits, and then they will rotate. And eventually these rotations will lead to even the memes that are somewhat dead, even the memes that are not so strong, but they would be receiving their portion of liquidity. Obviously, in this scenario where we will have an extended alt season as in the last cycle, where all of the alts eventually pumped because people were just looking to rotate. They did not give a fuck about news, about technology. They just saw a chart that did not pump yet, and they were throwing their profits into this chart in anticipation of the pump, and most likely the pump was happening because everyone was pretty much just following the same type of logic. Very exciting things are happening. This is the creation of a new fucking industry, and it embeds into the market structure perfectly. With exchanges, with the market makers, everyone is making money. Psyops are so fucking good. Gambling revenue is at all-time highs. I am from the region that is kind of front-running the world, right? Where the wars are happening very close to this region. People are not doing very well because of these type of events. You cannot fucking imagine how many casino ads are out there. And casino for the Western world, for the US retail, most likely is going to be buying into Memecoins. Just two great type of psyop in the first place. Imagine a mid-curver holding XRP for 10 years. And the friend that he thought is stupid, the friend who's making 10 times less money than him, he's buying a meme coin, he's a millionaire. Imagine type of emotions, imagine the cope, imagine the mindshare, imagine the capitulation. It's crazy. It's been happening already. Therefore, it will probably continue happening moving forward. If it was happening already, there is a higher chance it will continue happening moving further as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is quite an important one. I will be seeing you tomorrow.